Welcome to my solar addiction. Today's video.
Full build video of Monster Solar Pergola. Part 1. Pergola materials and footings.
As a part of my plan of eventually being totally energy independent, we built a patio with 16 REC 400 watt panels on it, and they worked really well and helped out a lot, but in the summertime it didn't quite give me enough solar energy coming in to achieve my goal of not having to use any grid energy. So we decided to build a pergola, and we're going to put it to the left side of the house. And this is the first video in a series showing how we went from this to this. And it didn't cost us a whole bunch of money. So we're on the patio. Here's the stuff for the pergola, some of it. Rest of it's in the power room. And this is where the pergola is gonna go. Right in this area here. So, the gate is right here. And I don't want to really block the gate, but if I want to stay 4 feet off the fence, if I want to stay 4 feet off the fence and then come 12 feet this way, that's where she lands. So as long as I don't make it stick up too much, we can still move things in and out of the gate. And I already see what I'm probably going to wind up doing is putting a little small slab right there, because that's a bunch of mud when you open the gate anyway when it rains too much. But here's the first one, the first footing. And I know a lot of people are going to say, why didn't you just go ahead and measure the whole thing? Well, I already did a rough measurement, but this is an exact measurement of where I want this one to be. And then from there, I'm going to level all the other ones. So that way I have a starting point, and I'll level the other ones to this one. But I'm going to make sure I sink this one in the ground, because from what I can tell, it might be a little bit higher than further closer to the pool. So I want to sink this one in the ground. Plus I don't want to block anything here. The pole will be in the center. The pole will be in the center here, which lines up with, 4 inches to the left of the actual pole for the gate, which I need to fix anyway. So I think we'll be good with it right here. I think that'll work. Yep. And then we're going to come 4 feet off the fence here for this one. And we're going to put it right here. Now I got to do some tree trimming on my neighbor's tree. But in the morning, it'll clear the house pretty early when it's over here. So we won't start having an issue until probably about, 2 o'clock with these trees over here after I fix this one. All right, my solar addiction. Okay, so to make my little footings, I went ahead and cut me some boards 2 feet long, because I'm doing 2 foot square footings. And I got me some screws. I got me my trusty screw gun here. And I'm going to put together this little box that's going to make up my concrete form for my footing.
Because of you that I now have a criminal record. And it is because of you that I missed out on having gelato with Stan Lee.
Maybe you'll have another chance to have
No, I will never have another chance to have gelato with Stan Lee. Because opportunities to have gelato with Stan Lee come but once in a lifetime. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on.
Did he just somehow give me the finger?
Not just the finger, the moving finger.
So this is my box for my concrete footing. And then this is what the posts are going to sit in, this bracket. So I kind of got this idea where I wanted to have rebar attached to the bolts that are coming out of here so I could tighten it down, put a washer on it, and have that in the concrete with rebar going through it. I'm going to wire that together before I stick it in the ground, of course. But this is what we're going to do so that I'm not going to use a board this thick because it's not going to hang low enough. I'm going to get something a little thinner, probably about, maybe a 1 inch. I've got something that's about 1/2 inch maybe. I'll use that to have the bracket sit right in the center and make sure it's level, all of that too. And then when the concrete dries, we remove the board after unscrewing these, and these bolts will be sticking up out of the concrete, and they'll be attached to the rebar, which is in the concrete. And I think it'll make a nice way to make sure that all the four holes are spaced properly for the bracket, because the bracket will be on it while it's drying. Yeah, just a little idea I had. Hope it works. We're gonna see. You gonna help out, Alice? Your baby? You said my sweetheart. Good puppy. Yeah, he's about to dig right there, though. You don't want to get in the way. Good job, Pergola. Got it. Got to widen it out a little bit more. Another dry pour. Works out good. So the dry pour of the footing was successful, and we've got our first pole up here. And we're beginning to dig the other footings, which is a long process for a guy with bad knees and maybe a torn tendon or ligament in his right leg. But that's why it's called DIY, right? Well, here we go. Footings are going in for the pergola. Got our second box set up here, string line. And the way we're doing this is not only going to put the little wire mesh in here, but I'm making it so that the bolts stick up and have a piece of rebar running through where the bolts are connected. So that way it'll be firmly inside of the footing. So I know other people are going to say, oh, you could have done it this way and that way, but this is the way I'm doing it. That's why it's called DIY, folks. All right, but the first one worked out perfect. And get a closer look at it. Okay. Now this side's a little off, but once we tighten the bolts on the bottom, it'll be zeroed out. It's close enough for rock and roll, though. Close enough that it'll work.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
But as you can see, my little cart coming in handy again. And I'm going to pour this one, and then when we get to the end, I'm going to record the whole actual doing a dry pour of the footing on the end.
Hope you liked part 1. I sure did. Coming up, part 2. Assembling the pergola.
Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed our video.